Hey Raxians, Rival X Factor here with another episode of Basic Training for Planetside 2, and this is an important one. We're going to talk all about general settings, and more importantly, how to set up your mouse properly to be a precise killer in Planetside 2. To become a precise, deadly, accurate killer in Planetside 2, there's a couple things we need to talk about, and one of them is a bad, dirty word. It's called mouse acceleration, and it's built into Windows. There are ways to disable this in Windows, and I'll allude to that on my own personal channel, but there's a way that's built into game. You simply hit Escape, go to your Generals tab, and check Use Raw Mouse Input. And basically what this does is it gets the mouse movement directly from the mouse instead of through Windows. What's acceleration? Let's say this. Let's say I do a 360-degree turn while aiming down sight, and it takes me 4.5 inches. That's my setting. I prefer. I'm a high sensitivity guy. A hip fire, 360, 2.25 inches roughly. So what's mouse acceleration? How does it affect me in a bad way? If I move my hand faster, it's going to change the distance than if I move it slower. I want the same result every time I turn to do a 180 or quick twitch aim to switch targets at a close range. The only way to enable this or to promise this and guarantee this is getting rid of mouse acceleration. Now that we figured out that I'm a high sensitivity person by doing a hip fire 180 at about 2.25 inches, this is all personal choice. Low sensitivity guys could do this as high as 10 to 12 inches, so doubling it when going 360. It's all personal preference. Mess around in Sanctuary with the right sensitivity. Now let's go into a couple other things that affect your mouse and your movement. Zoom toggle. What is that? Let's say I have to go to ADS, aim down sight because I see an enemy. If this isn't checked, I have to hold the right mouse button down. What's that mean? I'm potentially pressing two buttons at the same time while moving my mouse side to side and compensating recoil. A lot to go on. My personal preference, I like to turn the toggle on. What's that mean? Right click to zoom in. Not touching the mouse right now, still zoomed in. Right click to unzoom. Any weapon. It gives you less to do while you're aiming, less presses. Again, personal choice. The next thing that we're going to talk about is vehicle mouse sensitivity, flight sensitivity. They are what they say they are. It adjusts how well and how quickly your vehicle and flight variants interact with your input. An important one is scoped mouse sensitivity. This isn't all scopes. This is just sniper rifle type scopes. And lastly, let's talk about some HUD things and some other settings. The first one is reduce input lag. You want that on. Why is that? What's input lag? Let's say we strafe and it doesn't happen the instant that we hit the key. That's called input lag. I'm inputting something and it's taking the computer, the game to figure out, hey, wait a minute, we got to move. Sluggish. You want snappy and precise, so make sure that's on. The next thing I want to talk about is the HUD and the way it displays. I run centralized HUD mode. As you can see down by my hand where my gun's at, I've got my special ability, and you can see the cooldown and the ability decreasing on my screen right next to my gun in blue and underneath my gun. You can also see my mag count, and in yellow, you can see it dissipating and turning to red as I need to reload. Also is your armor and health displays right in your field of view as you're taking damage. The last setting we're going to talk about is the fixed mini-map. Do you want to revolve around the world? See the mini-map, how my field of view is being shown here? Or, as I prefer in real life and in the game, I like the game and the world to revolve around me. How cool is that? Now let's talk about having a gaming mouse and potentially throwing some key bindings on there and the thought process behind it. The most important keys you have are your movement keys. They help you defend, they help you seek cover, they help you fight from cover, pillar, all important things. Stock settings to change weapons are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But what happens when you have to hit that? You have to take your fingers off a strafe key. My theory is this. If there's a key setting that impedes your ability to move, change it. How do we change it? By putting things on your mouse wheel, your thumb buttons, and everywhere you could do it. I actually have changed primary, change secondary to my mouse thumb buttons. Mouse wheel pressing is knife. Scroll up is another weapon. Scroll down is a gadget or two, depending on the class that I'm playing. Anytime I'm using my mouse for doing this, I never have to take my fingers off the WASD keys, and I can't tell you how many times that saved me from being sniper bait or just plain simple saved my life. How do you go about changing those key bindings? It's simple. You go into settings, we're going to go to key bindings, we're going to go to infantry. As you can see, I've changed some of these gear slots, either mouse buttons. If your mouse isn't picked up by the software, you can use your Razer, Microsoft, RAT software and do a one key macro outside the game. And as you can see, I use P and semicolon, stuff that's way outside the normal keys and not going to get me in trouble as I'm keyboard smashing while playing. And lastly, before we go, do not forget about your DPI setting of your gaming mouse. That has a lot to do with what your in-game sensitivity is, not just the number that's on the screen that you can edit. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, don't forget to leave them below, and we'll see you soon.
Sony.